Bay me, 29, single again for the millionth time. I'm sitting in my apartment staring at my phone like it personally offended me. Brett just ended things over text. Over text. After 3 months of dating, he couldn't even call me. I don't think this is working out. You're great, but I need someone who actually wants a partnership, not an audience. Take care. I read it 5 times, trying to figure out what the hell he was talking about. Partnership? I was being a partner. I showed up to dates, I laughed at his jokes, I gave him my time. What more does he want? Okay, maybe I made that comment about the restaurant, but it wasn't even that fancy, just some Italian place with checkered tablecloths and candles and wine bottles. When he asked if I liked it, I said, "It's cute, but I'm used to guys really trying to impress me." He got quiet after that. And fine, maybe I gave him a look when he suggested splitting the Uber, but a real man doesn't ask his girl to split things. That's just basic. The final straw was last week when he told me over drinks that he felt like he was auditioning for a role in my life, and that I just showed up expecting him to perform. I told him that a man should want to pursue, that if he wasn't willing to step up, he wasn't ready for a real woman. He said he was done. I called him insecure. He blocked me. Whatever. His loss. I scroll through Hinge for the 100th time today, swiping left on guys who are 5 feet 9 inches, hard pass, guys who list their job as entrepreneur, unemployed, guys whose main photo is them holding a fish. Why do they all do that? The dating pool is tragic. Absolutely tragic. I need to get out of my apartment before I lose my mind, so I drive to my parents' house. Mom's always good for some validation, and I could use a home-cooked meal. When I walk in, Mom's in the kitchen chopping vegetables for dinner. Dad's in the living room, watching the news, beer in hand. "Hey, sweetie," Mom says, giving me a quick hug. "You okay? You sounded upset on the phone." "I'm fine," I lie, dropping my purse on the counter. Just men being men. What happened? I launch into the Brett saga while she stirs something on the stove. He said I wasn't contributing to the relationship. Like, excuse me? I showed up. I made time for him. What more does he want? Mom gives me her diplomatic while adding salt to the pot. Men today are so low effort. I continue. They want a 10, but won't even plan a decent date. Brett took me to mid-tier restaurants and expected me to be grateful. I have standards. Maybe he was trying his best, Mom offers carefully. His best wasn't good enough. Dad glances over from the living room but doesn't say anything. Just takes a sip of his beer and goes back to the TV. At dinner, I can't stop scrolling through Hinge. Mom gently suggests I put my phone away, but I ignore her. These apps are the only way to meet people anymore. Swipe left, too short, swipe left, looks broke, swipe left. Loves hiking and dogs, so no personality. You know who I saw on Instagram the other day? I say, not looking up from my phone. William. Posted some gym selfie. So glad I dodged that bullet. Zero ambition, just wanted to coast through life, working his boring job. Dad's fork pauses midair. He looks at me, really looks at me, then goes back to his mashed potatoes without saying a word. He was so boring, I continue. Never wanted to go out, never wanted to do anything exciting. Just work, gym, home, repeat. I need someone with vision, someone who actually wants to build something. He had a good job, Mom says quietly. Assistant manager at a logistics company, I scoff. That's not exactly impressive. Dad sets his fork down. For a second, I think he's going to say something, but he just stands up, takes his plate to the sink, and goes to the garage. Mom looks at me with this expression I can't quite read. Tired, maybe? After dinner, I leave feeling slightly better. At least Mom gets it. Dad's just from a different generation. He doesn't understand modern dating. As I'm pulling out of the driveway, I see him through the garage window, organizing his tools, shaking his head. Whatever. 3 days later, I'm lying in bed scrolling Instagram before sleep when I see it. William's engagement announcement. The photo is professional, golden hour lighting in some park. William looks different, filled out more, confident. He's hugging his fiancée from behind, both of them laughing at something off camera. She's wearing a simple sundress, holding up her left hand to show off the ring. Oval diamond, classic. The caption? She said yes. Can't wait to marry my best friend. I zoom in on her face. She's pretty, I guess. Not stunning, just pretty. Girl next door type, genuine smile. I click through to her profile. Public, of course. Emily, 26, kindergarten teacher, bio. Lover of sourdough, golden retrievers, and Sunday morning hikes. I scroll through her feed. Homemade bread, bookshelves, her dog, brunch with girlfriends. Nothing special, nothing impressive, just basic. I go back to William's post. 847 likes already. Comments from his friends and family. So happy for you both. Beautiful couple. About time, man. Something twists in my chest. Not jealousy exactly. More like confusion. He gets this? William, with his boring logistics job and his boring routine, gets a happy ending while I'm getting ghosted by Brett's? I can't sleep. I keep refreshing his profile, looking at that photo, trying to understand what I'm feeling. At 2 a.m., I scroll back through my own Instagram to find old photos of us. They're archived. I hid them after we broke up. There's one of him cooking dinner in his apartment, concentrated expression while stirring pasta. Another of us at his family's 4th of July BBQ, his arm around me, both of us sunburned and happy. I remember thinking he was safe. Stable. Good for the time being, but not forever. Not exciting enough. I close Instagram and stare at my ceiling until sunrise. The next day, I show up at my parents' house after work. Dad's in the den, watching some old western. I sit on the other end of the couch, pretending to watch, but I can feel the question building in my throat. After 10 minutes of silence, I blurt out, "Dad, why do you think my relationships never work out?" He looks at me, surprised. The TV remote is still in his hand. Long pause. "You really asking? Or you just want me to tell you what you want to hear?" "I really want to know." He mutes the TV, shifts to face me completely. "All right, let's start with Brett. What happened there?" I give him the rundown. Brett wasn't stepping up, wanted to split everything 50-50 like we're roommates, didn't plan impressive enough dates. A real man provides, I finish. What did you provide? The question throws me. What do you mean? What did you bring to the relationship besides showing up? I have my own career, my own life. I'm not desperate. I'm independent. That's what you don't need from him, Dad says. I ask what you give. I stammer something about being supportive, being there when he needed me. Dad asks for examples. I can't think of specific ones. What about William? Dad asks. My stomach drops. What about William? That was 3 years ago. He was a good man. Stable job, treated you right, wanted a future with you. Why'd you leave? I give the rehearsed answer. We wanted different things. He had no ambition. I needed someone who was going places. Dad's face changes, gets harder. William came to this house one Saturday while you were at brunch with your friends. Asked if he could talk to me, man to man. My blood goes cold. He asked me for advice about proposing to you. Asked what kind of ring you'd like, if I thought you'd say yes. I told him to wait, make sure you were ready first. I can't breathe. 2 weeks later, you broke up with him. I didn't know he was thinking that seriously, I manage. I wasn't ready for that. No, Dad says quietly. You matched with someone on Hinge who seemed more exciting. Went on a few dates with him while you were still with William. Then you ended it. I'm caught, completely caught. I didn't think Dad knew any of this. How did you... I pay attention, he says. More than you think. He picks up the remote, unmutes the TV. You asked why relationships don't work, but you're not ready for the real answer. When you are, we'll talk. I sit there another minute, dismissed, then leave without saying anything else. Driving home, I tell myself he doesn't understand. Things are different now. Dating is different. I was young when I was with William. I didn't know what I wanted yet, but I can't stop thinking about that engagement photo, about Emily with her sourdough bread and her kindergarten classroom, about William asking my dad for advice on proposing. 2.5 weeks later, I match with Ryan. 32, corporate finance, actually tall, 6 feet 1 inch in his profile, probably honest about it, well-groomed in his photos. We text for 4 days before meeting, real conversations, not just, hey, what's up nonsense. First date is at an upscale coffee shop downtown. He shows up on time, looks even better in person, asks actual question about my life. No awkward silences. He picks up the check without making it weird and walks me to my car. I'd really like to see you again, he says. Second date is dinner at a nice Italian place. He made a reservation, opens doors, orders wine that actually pairs with our food. Over pasta, he talks about his job, but also asks about mine. I don't mention that I make $42,000 as an HR coordinator. He pays without blinking. Third date is a hiking trail he picked out. He brings extra water bottles, takes photos of me at the summit. We talk about families, values, what we want in life. He mentions wanting kids eventually, marriage, building something real. I text my friend Jess. Finally found a quality man. Dad was wrong. Lol. By week 3, we're texting every day. Good morning texts, memes, actual connection. Ryan hints at wanting exclusivity. Fourth date is at a wine bar on a Wednesday evening. Mid-conversation, he puts his glass down and looks at me directly. I really like where this is going, he says. I want to make sure we're on the same page. I light up. Me too. I can definitely see this going somewhere. He smiles, but stays serious. I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest. I'm not judging. I just need to know if we're compatible for the long term. I nod, nervous now. What's your relationship history like? How many serious relationships have you had? Easy question. 2 serious ones. William, that was 2 years, ended about 3 years ago, and 1 in college for about a year. He nods. And I know this is personal, but it matters to me. Rough ballpark. What's your body count? Time slows down. My face gets hot. I mean, does that really matter if we have chemistry? It matters to me, Ryan says gently but firmly. I'm 32. I'm thinking marriage level serious. I need to know who I'm investing in. I'm not trying to shame you. I just need honesty. I'm trapped. Can't lie, but can't tell the whole truth either. I don't keep an exact count. Somewhere around 15, maybe 18. I dated a lot in my 20s, figuring things out. His face changes. Not angry, not disgusted, just closed off. He leans back, picks up his wine glass, takes a long sip. And how many of those were relationships? Like the 2 I mentioned. The rest were more casual. Dating? Seeing where things went? Ryan nods slowly, looks out the window. I can literally see him doing math in his head. When he looks back, the warmth in his eyes is gone. I appreciate you being honest with me. Ryan, that was my past, I try. I'm in a completely different place now. I'm ready for something serious. I believe you. He cuts me off gently. I just need to think about some things. The rest of the date is torture. Awkward. Stiff. He pays, walks me to my car, gives me a hug that feels obligatory. I'll text you, he says. He doesn't. 2 days later, I break. Hey, would love to see you again. Had such a great time with you. 6 hours later. Hey, you're great, but I don't think we're looking for the same things. I need someone whose past aligns more with the future I want. I hope you understand. Best of luck. I throw my phone across the couch. Everything was perfect. He was perfect. And he's throwing it away over a fucking number? I pace my apartment, rage texting Jess. Her response is lukewarm. His lost babe, but like, maybe don't mention the number next time? Even Jess isn't fully on my side. I grab my keys. It's 8:30 p.m. and I'm going to my parents' house. I burst into the living room. Dad's on the couch watching baseball. Mom's in the kitchen loading the dishwasher. This is bullshit, I'm practically yelling. I met a good guy. Everything was going great. Real chemistry. He was serious, talking about the future, and then he asks about my body count and just ghosts me. I told him the truth, and he can't handle it. Why are men so fucking insecure? It's 2025. Why am I being punished for living my life? Dad mutes the TV. Looks at me calmly. What did you tell him? What? What number did you say? I hesitate. I said around 18, maybe 20. I don't keep an exact count because it's not something I should have to track. Dad just sits there, staring at me like I told him someone died. His shoulders slump forward. Dad, why are you... I need a minute. His voice cracks slightly. He stands up, walks to the kitchen window, back turned to me. Just stands there, looking out at nothing. The silence is worse than yelling. I can see his hand come up to his face, rubbing his eyes, maybe, or covering his mouth. When he turns back around, his eyes are red. Not crying, but close. I thought I raised you better than that, he says quietly. I thought... Your mother and I, we tried to teach you that you matter, that you're valuable, that you don't just give yourself away to... He can't finish. Dad, it's not like that. 20 men got the most intimate part of my daughter, and not one of them loved her enough to stay. His voice breaks completely now. Do you understand what that does to a father? Knowing I failed you that badly? You didn't fail me. Then why don't you value yourself? In the kitchen, Mom freezes with a plate in her hand. Doesn't turn around, just stops moving. What? I'm defensive now. Why are you looking at me like that? That's normal for someone my age. 20 men, Dad says quietly, almost to himself. He looks at me like I'm a stranger. I thought maybe 5. 6 at most. Why does it matter? My body, my choice. You and Mom raised me to be independent, to not let men control me. Mom puts down the plate, walks out of the kitchen without a word. I hear her footsteps going upstairs. A door closes. Dad notices, but doesn't stop her. You can make whatever choices you want with your body, Dad says, finding his voice. Nobody's saying you can't, but you can't control how people react to those choices. That's the part you don't want to accept. That's sexist. Men sleep around and nobody... Let me finish. His hand goes up. Men do math. Ryan sees that number and thinks, she gave herself to 18, 20 men who didn't value her enough to commit, who didn't love her enough to stay. Why would I be different? What makes me special? That's not fair. You're right. There's a double standard. Life isn't fair. But you knew that going in. You made your choices anyway. Now you're upset about the consequences. Dad leans forward. You had William. Good man. Loved you. Wanted to build a life with you. What was his body count? I'm thrown. I don't know. I'd bet money it was under 5. Probably 3, maybe 4. He was the type of man women compete for. Loyal, faithful, stable. And you had him. You were the one he chose. He pauses. And you threw him away to explore. Well, you explored. And this is what you found. Tears are starting now, but I'm still trying to fight. That's not... His fiancée is 26, Dad continues. Kindergarten teacher. Sweet girl. I looked her up on Facebook after you mentioned his engagement. I'd bet she's been with 2, maybe 3 men her whole life. That's what men like William, men like Ryan, choose when they're ready to settle down. She's basic. I'm almost screaming now. She's boring. She probably has no... Don't you dare. Dad's voice is hard. That girl didn't do anything to you. She just made better choices. She valued herself differently. And now she's getting married while you're getting ghosted. The words hit like a physical blow. You're 29 years old, Dad says, softer now, but still firm. You spent your 20s giving your body to men who saw you as temporary. as entertainment. Now you finally meet a man who's serious, who has his life together, who wants marriage, and he sees the same pattern, just from a different angle. That's not fair, I'm sobbing now. I've changed. I'm ready now. Maybe you are, but your past doesn't disappear because you're ready for it to. And quality men can see patterns. They protect themselves. Dad looks at me with something that might be pity. I love you. I will always love you. You're my daughter, and nothing changes that. Long pause. But I can't lie to you anymore. This is fixable, but only if you actually change, not your words, your actions, your standards for yourself, not just for men. Another pause. He looks exhausted. And honestly, I don't think you will. I think you'll blame Ryan, blame men, blame society. And you'll keep doing the same things and wondering why you get the same results. I have no words left, just tears. Dad unmutes the baseball game. I sit there for another minute, then leave. Mom's still upstairs, door still closed. The next day I meet Jake at a coffee shop. He's been my friend since college, brutally honest, sometimes annoyingly so. I vent everything. Ryan, Dad's reaction, Mom not talking to me. They're not wrong, Jake says when I finish. You too? Body count does matter, not to every guy, but to the ones you actually want? Yeah, the guys who don't care are usually the ones adding to your count. I try the feminism argument. He cuts through it. It is your choice, and it's Ryan's choice not to commit to you because of it. That's how choices work. Then he asks the question that breaks me. If a guy told you he'd been with 35 women, would you take him seriously? I open my mouth to say yes. Can't. The silence stretches. Exactly, Jake says. You'd think he's a player, that you'd just be another number. That's how Ryan feels. I stare at my untouched latte. You knew this would matter eventually, Jake says, not unkindly. You just thought you'd figure it out later. The guys who don't care are the Bretts. The guys who do care are the Ryans. And they're walking away. That night, I'm in bed scrolling through old photos. Find some of William and me. Him cooking dinner, us at his family's BBQ, a hiking trip where he surprised me with flowers. I remember how he treated me. Then I think about Brett, about Ryan ghosting. I check Instagram. An ad pops up in my feed. High Value Women Academy. Learn the secrets to attracting and keeping high-value men. Join 10,000 plus women leveling up their dating life. I click it. $297 for the course. Testimonials from women who cracked the code and finally got the ring. I pull out my credit card. Dad and Jake don't get it. There's a strategy to this. I just need to learn the game better. These women figured it out. I can too. The confirmation email arrives. Welcome to the Academy, Queen. Module 1. Why your mindset is blocking your blessing. I open Hinge. Update my bio. High-value woman seeking high-value man. Know your worth. Start swiping. Left on a normal-looking guy whose prompt says he loves cooking and hiking. Too boring. Right on a shirtless gym pic. 6 feet 2 inches if it matters. I message first. Hey, I'll bag this one for sure. I'm a high-value woman now.